Hello, everybody. This is Justin Hagan, Club Growth Director, and you are here today on District 14 Toastmasters Live. This is a show where we spotlight Toastmasters in District 14 doing great things. We talk about the events and important things to know as a Toastmaster in District 14. Today, we have a very special show. We have our club coach chairs, distinguished Toastmasters, Mike and Terry Duncan, to talk to us today about club coaching and the benefits of becoming a club coach. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thanks, Justin.
Well, before we get into club coaching, the conversation about the benefits, if somebody wanted to become a club coach, let's get a little bit of background on the both of you. So what clubs are you a part of, and what led you to want to join Toastmaster or become a Toastmaster?
Well, Justin, I joined in 1993, right after I had my son, and he is going to be 30 next year. So I've been in Toastmasters a long time. And I joined at Randolph Air Force Base because I needed to be able to speak more coherently and get my point across instead of worrying about nerves. And then after we were in San Antonio, we were both in the Air Force, and then we transferred to Hawaii. And then I continued to be a Toastmaster in Hawaii, and that's where Mike joined Toastmasters, and we've been doing it together ever since.
Awesome. You can definitely relate to that. Want to build up the confidence in joining Toastmasters. So to kind of switch over to more so the club coaching part of it, where you started to become a club coach, what led the both of you to want to even become club coaches in Toastmasters?
Well, Justin, I was trying to finish up my DTM, and it's one of the challenges that I had to complete. And I was very excited about being a club coach and giving it a try. If a Toastmaster really wants to test his or her leadership abilities, coaching is the way to do it. You will face multiple challenges, multiple successes, multiple setbacks, and it'll just challenge your ability as a leader to keep pushing forward.
That is definitely true. It is one of the most challenging tasks that I've done in Toastmasters, and maybe even outside of Toastmasters. But it is really good experience. It's a valuable experience. You learn how to deal with people. You learn how to encourage people. You learn how to be objective and analyze what's going well and what's going not so well. And these are all parts of being a coach.
I appreciate the candid honesty. It definitely sounds like when you're leading a group of people to do better, there definitely has to be some challenges that come up. And I appreciate you sharing that with us. Although I kind of hear you leading into some of the rewarding parts of becoming a coach. Do you mind sharing the rewards and the big benefits that you receive once you work towards, as you said, the success of becoming a club coach and successfully coaching?
Well, the club that I started coaching, it had 8 members on paper, 4 members in person. And by the end of a year, we had gone up to 20 members in that club. And that was very rewarding to me. I wanted to claim all the credit, but I really could not claim any of the credit. It was all the club. It was so rewarding to see people and go into a club who openly says, we need help. What we're doing is not working. And it was so rewarding to hear them say that and be willing to accept help, new ideas. Let's try this and see if it works. If it works, great. If it fails, well, they didn't get dejected. They just, let's pick another path. That was the most rewarding part to me, is to see how badly they wanted to improve and to what lengths they were willing to go to improve. Really rewarding.
Sounds good. What about you, Terry? What was your most rewarding experience as a coach?
Well, mine is a little different because I'm a coach now, and I've been a coach. So as a coach previously, I had a similar experience to what Mike is saying, that the members wanted the club to, live on, wanted it to be successful, and weren't willing to give up. And it was a core group that wanted to keep going and was willing to do whatever they needed to. And it was very successful. They met their goal of 20 members. I'm a coach now during the COVID era, and it's a little different because they lost members because of COVID. They lost members who didn't, just like a lot of other clubs, who didn't want to do online Toastmasters. They wanted no part of that. So the people who stayed were extremely dedicated, but they were also very exhausted. They were just worn out. And again, they wanted help. And then I came in, and they had some things that were going on that weren't really working in the Zoom world. They had some people who were members who hated Zoom and said so at every meeting. And we had to work with them to stop doing that because that doesn't help. And then we were lucky enough, we got an international member, somebody who wanted to join our club because she used to live in Savannah and then went back home to Japan. Wow. So she was a catalyst. It's amazing how one person can make a big difference. So that showed the beauty of Zoom for them. So the club started to embrace it more because there's a lot of benefits to it, but we had to adjust. And it's been a little more of a challenge because Zoom makes, it's a little different when you're online. But we've had setbacks, but we've had successes. The thing I learned the most this time is that you really have to be patient. I was fortunate previously that it was fairly easy, relative looking at it backwards. And it's a little more challenging now because of where we're living. It's 2021 and those things. But it is extremely rewarding when you see individual members getting better at the larger picture and officers getting better at their roles. So it's been an interesting ride, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Well, most of the time. Got to be honest. I mean, it can be extremely frustrating. So anybody who's going to be a coach needs to realize that you have to be patient. And I'm not typically a patient person. So I learned a lot by this. I have learned a lot, and I'm still learning a lot by this process. And that it is small things that you may not even notice until you go back and look at where we were and then realize where we are.
Wow. So I appreciate you sharing, one, you shared the challenges, but you also shared the rewarding experience of it, being able to see where you started and move towards the bigger picture and actually have a big accomplishment by being a coach. So just for 1 second, taking off my host hat, putting on the CGD hat, the District 14 does have opportunities for coaches. There's great opportunities for coaches throughout the district. So that's why I'm glad I have both of you on the show, because this gives a really accurate picture of what it's like to become a club coach. And now what I want to do is talk about a little bit more of the process of becoming a club coach. So the next question, multiple parts. Who can become a club coach? Are there any minimum requirements? And what does the training look like? Is it a long all-day seminar, or is it multiple weeks? How does the training look to become a club coach?
I'll let Terry answer the requirements
okay.
part because she knows them better than I do.
So my understanding is that there really is no requirement to be a coach, that it is a simple process. Really, it's a desire to be one. And also you have to come to a 1 to 2 hour training one time. And then once a month, you would have to come to a coach's meeting to talk about your club. And the point of that meeting is to help you. Because if each club can have 2 coaches, but a lot of clubs only have 1. And when you're by yourself sometimes and you're trying to work with the people, you could get pushback. You could have tunnel vision because you're thinking it can only be this way. So when you come to that coaches meeting, we can offer, and other coaches, their experiences and maybe some suggestions. And as the coach, what are we? As us, as the part of the coaching team, we also will come and visit your club if you'd like us to give an outsider view. Because sometimes when you're in the club as the coach, you can get definitely blinders on, and it can be difficult, but that's the requirement. And then to get coaching credit, which we all know is still a requirement for DTM, and we'll be honest, people want to be a DTM, is that you have to get the club up to distinguished level. So, and there are certain ways, and we can talk about that. I don't know if you want to talk about that today, or they can learn that in the training. So the goal is to get that club to where they're distinguished level. So as long as that takes, then you are a coach if you want credit for it.
You know, Justin, we're seeing so many people now come to the monthly get-together who are on the edge. They're on the brink. They think they want to be a coach, but they're not really ready to make that jump, that commitment, and they're just kind of waiting and feeling it out. Hey, in 20-something days, it's a new year. If you're a Toastmaster, make becoming a coach one of your New Year's resolutions. It's good for you. It's good for Toastmasters. It's good for the club. You will not regret becoming a coach. I promise you. You may have days where you ask yourself, what have I done? But in the end, in the final analysis, you will be so glad that you took that leap. So get off the fence, get yourself a New Year's resolution, and become one of the many coaches.
Excellent. That's an amazing call to action. From what I'm hearing, it sounds like if anybody just wants to become a club coach, the first step is to get to the training.
Exactly.
Just get involved in the training. And I like the way you said the club coaching team. So when
and
there's
even if you just want to go, you can come to the training if you're curious.
Right.
Come in and find out more, ask questions. And with Zoom, you have an unlimited number of coaching opportunities because you don't have to be physically located in the area because we're only doing Zoom meetings. Now, as we move to more in 2022, if they start going in person, obviously we'll all have to adjust. But for right now, the meetings are on Zoom, and that gives you a lot of leeway in which club you coach.
Right. And if, like you said, as far as opportunities, if somebody wants to become a club coach, I have a place that I can place them right away. And in combination with the training, they'll be well prepared. So to finish off for our last question, just want to ask the both of you real quick, one thing that you wish you knew about club coaching before you became a club coach.
For me, I already mentioned it, is that I need to know, I would have liked to have known that it's a long game. It's not going to be necessarily in that first 6 months that everybody's going to embrace you, even though the president has to request a coach. And you would assume that they would talk it over with their members that they have. You still can get a lot of resistance. And that is really normal, but I wasn't really expecting it because it is definitely psychologically normal for people to resist change and to resist an outsider coming in and telling them what to do. But it's part of the whole process. So if I had realized that it is a long-term project, I would have been more relaxed and more prepared, just mentally prepared. It is rewarding. It is work. You will get frustrated at times. You will be pleasantly surprised at other times. And I really think that it's a good thing to do. There is a logic in Toastmasters wanting us to be coaches as part of being a Toastmaster, because the leadership experience that you get is phenomenal.
Excellent. What about you, Mike? Just one thing you wish you knew.
You know, I wished I had known how rewarding it would be, and I would have done it a lot sooner. But it was kind of that last thing I need to do to get my DTM. Oh, Lord, I don't want to try to coach these people because they're going to beat me up and kill me and not going to listen to everything. They're going to be angry. But it was nothing like that. They were very receptive, very anxious to move forward. And I wish I would have known that earlier, and I would have done it a lot earlier in my Toastmaster career. So for people on the fence, people thinking about it, I can't emphasize it enough. Don't wait. Don't wait. Now is the time for you to become a coach.
Excellent. That's a great point to close on. So thank you for coming on to this show this week, Mike and Terry, distinguished Toastmasters. And I know it's the holidays, so I appreciate you blocking off this time. That means even more, so I really appreciate that. So District 14 Toastmasters, that is the first episode of D14 Toastmasters Live. So if you know anybody doing great things in Toastmasters in District 14, please get them connected with me. They may be the next guest on D14 Toastmasters Live. I'll see the both of you soon.
All right. Bye-bye, Justin.